Riley Davis, why don't you lead us, please?
All right, get over here and see the flag. There it is. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Riley.
No problem.
We don't seem to have any guests on the agenda this evening, so I guess I'll start with the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I didn't find anything, and unless anybody found anything, I would make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Dan?
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes. Okay, scheduled reports this evening is from the Chief, John Phillips, Auburn Volunteer Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report of calls. EMS calls. Year-to-date is, or I should say, January to August 31st is 419. Previous year was 426. Fire calls this year is 280. Previous year was 270. Total calls this year is 699. Previous was 696. Mutual aid given is 174. Previous year is 164. Mutual aid received is 106. Previous year was 41. Total transports was 286. Previous year was 289. Total non-transports this year was 5. Previous year was 1. Total transfer to other agencies is 179. Previous year was 170. Total patients was 470. Previous year was 460. Our back-to-back calls, our multiple calls that come in at the same time is running at 24.46%. Previous year was 22.
Attention Auburn Fire
84.
Department, response for Elizabeth, 9771 Washington, 9771 Washington, assisted 23-year-old male from the car race to the house, 2800 clear 1903.
We've been pretty busy lately. I also would like to remind everybody about the climb day coming up on the 27th. If you haven't got your tickets yet, get them before they, because we got to close them out about a week before the order of claims. That's it for me.
Are there any questions from the members of the board for the chief?
Good.
Are there any questions from the audience this evening? Would have any questions for the chief? Chief, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll move on. We'll move on to the trustees and fiscal officer reports, and we'll start with the Honorable Mr. Troyan.
Okay, no specific report, but I do want to remind everyone that we do have our community picnic and junk in the trunk this Saturday, and it'll be from 10 to 4. And so I'd like to see all attend, stop down. Seems to have a good time. We've had some pretty good people, number of people show up for that event. It looks like the weather's supposed to be cooperative, so hope to see you all there.
We should have a lot of people there. I mean, we have 6,000 people in Auburn, and for the planning that goes into this to get back to the community, we should see more people there. We should.
Got some bands coming,
What?
food trucks.
And I'll be honest, what are the avenues for you guys to communicate to all the, everybody in the community that
Local
things
papers.
are happening?
It was in the
Okay.
Chagrin Valley Times, it was in the Maple Leaf, it was
Yeah.
in the Good News.
I mean, it's sad that more people don't show up, and it's hard to find out that information, and it's because I would like to know more. If I wasn't sitting in here, and I have a subscription to the newspapers, and the only reason I do that is because I worry about local newspapers. That's a story for another day.
Of course, the
It was in the Bainbridge
the
Banner.
signs we have on every corner of the
Yeah.
township with telling you about the thing this Saturday, that's kind of a clue too.
Yeah.
It's been on the website, it's
No,
been
yeah.
listed in the minutes for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
I don't know how many people read the minutes or go
Well-
on to the community website to find things. I just wondered if there's easier ways to get the word out to people.
Well, we don't have everybody's emails, so that.
Yeah,
that's-
Yeah.
early on when we would have, and we didn't have all the entertainment stuff here going on. we got some pretty good crowds up there when we were just kind of
Yeah.
getting that park together.
It'd be nice.
And so now the novelty's kind of worn off a little bit, park's just there.
Last year.
So,
I guess, it's, the park's been there now for a while. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people that,
yeah.
they're not drawn to come see what it looks like because they know. But, yeah, we've added the pavilion, and we've added other things. That pavilion gets a lot of use.
We go up there and
I
walk our
think-
dogs there all the time, so.
There you go. I think essentially word of mouth is probably the best, We used to have this little paper in town that the community club did called the Town Crier, which came out every month. But like a lot of local, in-house groups, those kind of fall apart because of lack of volunteers. So, we tried.
Anything else, Mr. Troyan?
Nope.
Mr. Kavanaugh?
Yeah, there was a few things going on. We have mentioned earlier that we had one longtime member of the road department left for an opportunity at a different township in the county. You guys all have a list now of several applicants. Actually, we've got a pretty good supply of people that applied for 2 positions that we're hoping to hire for. We're gonna interview next week here. That will be a executive session to interview potential employees. There will be no business conducted that night. The good news there is the newest member of our department has his CDL. He took his test, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And so we have another driver that can use any other trucks there now. Mike Fenstermaker and I went to a meeting at the engineer's office last week. Of course, we have a new county engineer, newish, and I think this was kind of a get-to-know-you thing. The 2 things I think he wanted to touch on mostly was cooperation between townships on not only roads that are border roads between 2 townships, but roads that, such as Taylor May or Stafford, that stretch the length of, 2 separate townships. And occasionally you'll have an instance where Bainbridge will pave the west end of Taylor May, and lo and behold, a year later, we're gonna do ours. Now, is there any way to coordinate? I know everybody's got their own plans for money, but you can save some money from mobilization that way.
Yeah.
He's just wishing for more efforts like that. And the other thing he's doing is, and this goes back a ways here in Auburn Township, we've got a pretty extensive database of our road inventory. Obviously, the length, the mileage is right around 54 miles that we maintain. All the culverts have their own identification number, bridges as well, signage, speed limits. They're working on doing a countywide database like what we already have here in the township. There's other townships that are doing the same thing we are, and they just want to incorporate this all into one thing. And just some initiatives from the new engineer that he was passing along. And the other thing is they sent us home with the wish list for next year's projects, which Mike has already filled out and sent back in. So we'll probably start getting numbers on those for the years out, most likely. That's about all I got.
You gonna bring up the foreman issue?
Yeah, I will. Do you want to do that in business?
Yeah.
You want to do it now?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Feeling the need to, with some of the experienced guys we have over here in the township that we want to make sure we can keep here. Not a reorganization of the road department so much as a specific position, which would be just under the road superintendent, which is Mike Fenstermaker. Longtime employee here, I think he's 19 years now, is Mark Sturm. And I would like to make a motion, it's gonna be a couple of them. One is to put Mr. Sturm in that position of foreman of the road department. That title was discussed at length, amongst the guys and us here in the office, and seems to be what's used. I've never worked in a shop, in an organized shop, so I'm not terribly familiar with these terms, but I guess that is the term that fits, and I'd like to make a motion to put Mark Sturm in that position.
So if something happens to Mike, do we automatically make him the?
He would be the go-to, yes, or if Mike's on vacation, yeah.
You discussed this with Mike?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any comments, Mr. Troy?
No, I concur. I think when you mentioned it last time, it's a good idea. He has been here a long time, he's been a good employee, and I see no reason to not to move him up, so I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? I'll second.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
Okay, hand in hand with that position deserves commensurate bump in salary, and I think Mark is at 28 something now, is he? My thought was $2 an hour.
And the question was, do we have the funding to?
We did,
support
and
that?
Nancy did ask you on my behalf today, I think, and with being a couple guys short at this point, I assume we're gonna be okay, even though we're going into a hiring phase, yeah.
Yeah, we have eight pay periods left, which is equivalent of 640 hours at $2 an hour, $1,280 plus the 14% we pay to Opers, so we're looking at 1,500 with, maybe up to 2,000 with overtime if there's any between now and then.
Well, I think it's called for. We do this on a shoestring budget over there. Not so much a shoestring budget, but we have limited manpower over there. We always have. We kind of take pride in it. When we had this engineers meeting the other day, there's a couple townships similar to us as far as road mileage that have 8 to 10 employees, and right now we're doing with 5. So I'd like to keep the band together there, and I think it's worthwhile. Mark's proved his way here. 19 years, we want to, I think it's deserved. So I'm going to make a motion to increase his pay $2 an hour.
A second.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
Are both these effective today?
Yes.
Yes.
Because today's the start of the new pay period
That-
too, so that'll work
good
out
ti-
perfect.
Good timing then.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I have just a couple things. At the last trustees meeting, we had Sawyer here, who's going for his Eagle Scout project. He explained to the trustees he wanted to plant some trees on the west and south side of the park for shade. He wanted to put up some bat houses, and I told him I would call him, and we set up a meeting at the park with Shane from the Land Conservancy, so we could kind of get everybody's feedback of what, not only on the trees he wanted to plant, but also on the bat houses and where he wanted to put them. So I'll go over that first. Shane kind of talked him into, as we did at the meeting, that maybe we should think about smaller trees, more ornamental type trees, instead of trees that 50 years from now, trustees are gonna have cut down
Yeah.
because they're overgrowth and the root systems are ruining the playground area. We talked him in to looking at some more ornamental type trees, smaller trees. Maybe along the west side is still good. On the south side, we thought maybe that's not such a good idea because right after the playground, you have the ball fields that are in the area there. So we talked about maybe, like I said, smaller trees, ornamental trees in between the pavilion and the playground area that would kind of be scattered, just 2 or 3 that would stay small and be ornamental. So he's gonna work up a plan. Now, I understand why he's doing trees, because his grandparents own a nursery. And so.
Makes sense.
I made the comment, I guess I was wrong at the last meeting, so, and I see it wasn't in the minutes, but thank you, Dan. I suggested a linden tree because I thought a linden tree had a taproot, and it does not. So we don't want linden trees. So that's a correction. So he's gonna work up the plan. he's gonna get back with us, come in here, and we're gonna look at the plan and see if that's what we approve, but, and as far as the bat houses, he's talking about putting it in the field, it doesn't encroach anything as far as the land conservancy is concerned. And Shane was very helpful with him on telling him things that would help and how to do it, the size of the box and the whole bit. The second thing I had to go over with Shane is our septic system that we're talking about putting in there. And I told him it was already approved by the health department. We met with them and he couldn't have been more complimentary on the system that we chose if we go with that. So it does not infringe on any of their property, and so he was okay with it.
And you know what, he's familiar with
Yes, he
the
is.
alternatives that have been used in other parks and other townships and county parks and things like that.
Yes.
So he knows what works and what doesn't, so yeah, I'll take that as, that's a good opening.
Now, the last thing that he and I talked about, and I wish I had a bigger map to show everybody, the park system, all right, here's Munn Road. There's some properties here, this homeowner, or us, I'm not sure who, and this homeowner or the business are cutting the grass, which is not their property. It's the park's property. And Shane wants us to get with both of these, and he gave me the right usage, but he said we should check with our attorney to write up letters of usage so that 20 years from now, they don't say, hey, we've been cutting the grass here for 20 years, this is our property. It's not their property, so we have to make sure they understand that if they're gonna continue to cut it, that's fine, but it's not their property. Now, the other thing is, and where he,
Possession, actually.
yeah, where he definitely wants us to get that letter, the company that bought the actual Capeland Farm, this property along this outer edge, they are mowing. Again, it's the park's property, that's their property, and they don't have a problem with it mowing, but they definitely want a letter, the usage letter, not only from, but they want a copy of that as soon as we can do that. So I can either get with Mike or whatever, and he's gonna have to but meet with these homeowners, if in fact they're cutting it. You know, I don't know if we're cutting that or not, I don't think so. But you can see the house is off of Munn.
Yeah, I
That
think
are being
I
cutting
know
that.
this one, they're cutting it, I
Okay.
know that. I guess I haven't walked that probably since the
Yeah.
party.
And
last
then
year.
this,
And then where's the,
this is another, this here, I don't know if the business is doing that or this homeowner here is doing that. But the property, now here's the farm where the business is, this property along this edge, and in here, they're mowing, and that's not their property. That's the park's property. So we definitely have to get that going. When he gets me the right term, we have to get with our attorney and have her write a letter, and he has to sign it.
we traded off in exchange for the new parking lot, wasn't that in here?
The right along the edge where they're mowing, he said, is not theirs.
All right, one of the hottest meetings we had up here a few years ago, Mike, you'll remember this, is when we did not get that Lowe's lawns mowed over there.
Yeah.
And that,
Well-
yeah, that was not good.
What we did is we did trade off the land down at that one so we could expand the parking. lot
Yeah,
there
we
with
did.
it.
We
But
did.
it's still our land either way.
Right.
just Whether it's under the conservatory's guidelines or not.
Well, it'd be up to them, it would, but
Well, he was
Yeah,
definite
they-
that he wanted a letter from these people for this property.
yeah, and
No, I
Western
said-
Reserve was interested in that because you got that creek running through there.
It's called, and that's the property he's talking about, where the creek goes through, this is theirs, and it's called a use agreement.
Yeah.
And he said, get with our attorney to write up the proper wording, but they need to sign that so that, like I said, 20 years from now, they don't claim that's theirs. So, that's all I have on that.
Good idea.
So we get our attorney to write a letter, and then do we send it, or does he send it?
No, we send it.
Yeah, I think we'll make contact with these
And then when
three
right,
property owners
right.
first, because it's not contentious, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
Okay.
When they sign it though, for this property here along the edges, the Land Conservancy wants a copy for their file.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that's all I have, and now we'll go to Dan Matsko, Fiscal Officer.
Okay, since our last trustee meeting held on September 2nd, I processed for tonight 10 electronic payments totaling $46,825.19. In addition, 21 warrants were processed totaling $5,240.47, totaling $52,065.66. And when I was asked by our office administrator whether, through PJ, whether or not we had the funds to give a raise and to our one road employee promoted to foreman, I decided to look at where we stood at expenses as a percent to our annual budget through September, which is 3/4 of the year. So as of right now, we're at 56% of the total budget. And road and bridge, we're at 56%. Cemetery, 52%. And fire, we're at 81%. So we're well under budget, and for fire, we'll remain under budget through the end of the year. So.
Thank you, those are good numbers, thank you.
Good. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right, before
Of course, just to pile on what Dan said, that was when I saw those earlier, we got a dome full of salt already, so, you know, that, usually those bills don't start rolling until midwinter or later. We probably don't get that other truck. Of course, that's already set aside, right?
Yeah, that money.
That's not included in this 56%, really. is
No,
it?
it'll be in January or February.
So we're in good shape. We're in good shape. We gotta, hopefully we'll be hiring 2 people here. Yeah. Could be a raise in the offering for Nathan as well. You know, we started him considerably lower without his CDL.
Right.
Is he close to that?
You got it.
You got it?
You got it.
Okay. Anything else?
No, just thoughts from.
All right, before I go over some of the save the date, since we have no old business or new business, is there anyone here this evening that would like to address the board? Any concerns, comments? Yes, sir. State your name.
Scott Bass?
Scott Bass.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
From the impression of the last meeting, Frank had talked about having people from the patio represented or from Cooney represented to talk about, and you invited them to come in and speak at the trustees meeting. I don't know if that
Frank
came to-
suggested if they wanted to come in, he didn't say they had to, if they
Okay.
wanted to come in and discuss it. If they don't want to come in and discuss it, then the letters have been sent of where he's in violation, we'll have to correct those, such as your fence and.
Okay, I was just here to see if
Right.
something were to be discussed. I wanted to be here and
I'm
have
sure
comments and.
we'll know if he's going to be on the agenda, and so,
Okay.
you know, check that one. Anybody else? No? Riley?
Mr. Kavanaugh, I'm curious, because I really can't find a lot of information. This isn't, we're under budget, everything's great with roads and bridges. But like, how do communities, this will sound stupid the way I'm wording it, but how does the county take over local roads? Is there a requirement how many miles of roads a township has to maintain? In other words, like a private development in Newbury, they have potholes, they have problems, and then they annex, I don't know the right word, to the county, and then all of a sudden the county pays for the roads. I'm just curious, how, I don't have a clue how it works. I was wondering, do you have a clue how that even works?
Probably by traffic. Every subdivision road, you know, in every township belongs to the township. That's their maintenance.
We'd like to turn them over to the county.
Right. I have no clue how it works.
You know, there has been instances where roads have been turned from, well, this one went from a state road to a county road right here. This used to be a state road.
Washington.
Yeah,
is a
Right,
state
they
route.
did, when the freeway went through.
Messenger Road is a county road.
Right.
Arguably, it could be a township road now because, you know what, this is coming back to me now. If you go from a state road, if it's a connector from a state road to a state road, that belongs to the county.
Oh,
That belongs to the county. And that's why Messenger, even with the curve, is a county road because this used to be a state road.
Interesting.
Some of the problems that we run into is Munn Road in Auburn Township is a county road.
Yes.
In Newberry,
It's
it's
a
a
township
township road.
Which never made much sense.
Not
But they
at
tried
all.
to, but they tried to change that years ago. They were going to upgrade Munn Road to the same standards that it is in Auburn. Munn Road in Newberry, if you drive it, it's quite a bit narrower. It's nowhere near the same road. The weight ratings are way lower. Residents did not appreciate that, and they did a Save Munn Road thing, and it never happened, although arguably that probably should be a county road from where its terminus and its end is.
They tried to keep it, the Newberry residents.
The Newberry, it still is a
They
Newberry
tried to keep
Township road.
the upkeep bills.
Right. Now, Taylor May and, well, Stafford obviously does not fit that state road to state road criteria because it ends over there, Haskins. So that's why that's a township road, both in Bainbridge and Auburn. When this happened, I remember, I don't want to kick a hornet's nest here, but when this reverted to the county, there was some thought that they would throw Messenger Road to us and make Taylor May a county road. That's how that would, there was some discussion. That's 2 engineers ago now
Yeah.
that happened. That was, thought was kicked around, it did not happen.
That would actually make sense, which is
Yeah.
probably why they didn't do it.
Yeah, that was 2 engineers ago, that never happened, no. I know we weren't interested in taking on Messenger, but
The other thing, Riley, if you live here long enough and you die here, we name a road after you.
What about?
Taylor,
anyway,
May,
did
Munn.
I answer that? I don't know, I sometimes, I
Yeah, like,
got
well,
on a riff there,
so
but.
Crackle's county and then State Route 306? Is that
No,
right?
Crackle Road is a
Crackle is
township road.
a township
No,
road.
it goes between a county and a state route, so that's why it's not
Right.
a county road.
That would fit that criteria.
And it's shared between 2 townships,
Is there a Crackle family that was named after?
probably.
Well, there's a Crackle and a Harner now, it's got 2 names now.
Yeah.
That's Harner,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
Harner.
After the.
Yeah,
that's
because
weird.
it stops at
That's a Spanish
Thorpe.
staff.
Well, when Munn died, they only made it up to Chamberlain, then Chamberlain died in over there, and they made it Chamberlain, so it's.
So loosely, that's how that goes. If it goes from a state road to a state road, that should be a county road. There's some
Otherwise, they want you
exceptions.
responsible for that 54 other miles that you
Yeah, we've got
mentioned.
54 miles of our own roads here.
That's why
cool.
we're spending $1 million to redo a subdivision that we,
Oh, Moreland?
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause those are, and actually, there's 0 assistance with state funding on subdivision roads like that, so that's why we got stuck with that entire bill.
Yeah,
That's a brand new development, then.
That was not what you hoped for, you're exactly right.
Wow.
Well, it's not new, Scott, it's actually,
10 years old.
no, it's more like 18.
Well, that's new to me. I've
But
been here
it's
since,
sad.
so-
Yeah.
I'm 22.
That road went in, I think it was 07, 08, something
Yeah.
like that, before the crash, and there was only about 3 houses in there.
Yeah, it was like.
So that
for a
road's
while.
aging and aging and aging, and then just in the last 3-4 years, they put up 50 homes in there. So you get all that construction traffic, and it was stunning when you watch those trucks move. That road would move up and down 6 inches.
When my folks
We have
moved here in
specific guidelines that covers
1955,
90% of the roads.
Munn Road was called Brown Road. It was Mr. Brown died. But they changed it to Munn when Mr. Munn died. I'm kidding, I don't know. But it was Brown Road. Okay,
Thanks.
all right,
Yeah,
no problem.
I hope it helped there.
So some save the date things, we have a Board of Trustees special meeting next week at 6 o'clock to go over some interviews, that'll be an executive session.
Let me interrupt you,
Please.
because this
Go
is
ahead.
why I made this note. We gotta reset the reopening of those public hearings.
You mean for these right here?
Yes.
The ones we just did.
The ones we recessed.
Okay, well, we shouldn't do it till we know when someone's gonna be here. Can we do that before the next?
No,
Well,
because
the-
she's gonna have to advertise everything.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to think within 3 weeks we can find somebody from the zoning commission available.
I would think. Make the motion. What date is that?
October, what does it say over there? 5, 6, 7, no, 1st. Yeah,
The 6th and the 20th are the 2 meetings.
oh, that's September, I'm sorry, yeah.
October's the one.
Yeah.
The 6th and the 20th.
So the 6th,
You want to do it on the 6th?
Let's do it on the 6th.
you want to
Yeah.
do 6, 15, 30, and
Let's
45
do it.
again?
Let's do it the same way.
Okay. So I'm going to do that in one motion rather than three different ones.
Go ahead.
So let's set the reopening of ZC 2025-01 for 6:15, for ZC 2025-02 at 6:30, and for ZC 2025-03 at 6:45. That's a motion.
On October
Second.
6th.
October 6th.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Who seconded the motion?
Mike.
Okay, change the 6th.
Okay, the next thing on the list there is the honor of the first responders. That was actually from 8/22.
Yeah.
That's
I thought that was wrong.
That's over, so.
9:20 is the Auburn Community Picnic and Junk in the Trunk Fest at our park. 9:25 Zoning Commission meeting at the Administration Building at 7. 9:27 is the Auburn Volunteer Fire Department Clam Bake. On 10/6, the Board of Trustees again will have their regular meeting here at the Administration Building. On 10/9, the Zoning Commission meeting, Administrative Building at 7 o'clock. And at 10/14, the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting will be here at 7 o'clock. And I believe, is it September 24th, Meet the Candidates Night at Kenston High School,
Yes.
where Mr. Riley will be debating Mr. Troyan if they still want to be trustee or new trustee. So that's a joke, okay? Come on. Okay. Anything else from anybody? Do I entertain a motion to still be in order or out of order? Motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Yeah,
Second,
I'll second that, sure.
meeting adjourned.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.